In addition to looking at the constellations tonight, we'll also be looking at some telescopic objects, things that are not so easy to see with the naked eye, but are really brilliant targets for the telescope. There are several of those to pick from tonight. Being the fall, we still have a good view of a cluster of stars called the Great Globular Cluster. And that's located in the constellation Hercules, which will be in the west this evening, shortly after sunset. It's also called M13. It's part of a catalog that was made over 100 years ago by a French astronomer. When we look at M13, or this Great Globular Cluster, you're just going to see hundreds and hundreds of stars that are packed into a very, very small part of space within the Milky Way that, when viewed through the telescope, glow like a ball, like a gem, with radiant points across the top. When we look to the south, towards Sagittarius, we're looking pretty much at the galactic center, at the center of our Milky Way. And in that region of the sky, you have a lot of beautiful clusters of stars, of nebulae where stars are being born and other stars have died. And when you look through that, into that direction, you'll see many, many things. One of my favorites to point out is the Lagoon Nebula. That nebula, first of all, just by looking with your own eye, you might be able to catch a wisp of it. Through binoculars, I have 10-power binoculars, which I love to use at the star party, you can begin to see it glowing, and it just jumps out of the sky at you. When you're looking towards Sagittarius, you know, just above it to the right, you're going to see this beautiful collection of clouds that are glowing with the starlight around them that make up such pretty colors. That's the Lagoon Nebula. And then through the telescope, we're going to get an even closer view of that. It's a really impressive and very rich part of the sky where not just the Lagoon Nebula, but many other clusters and nebulae can be found. If we look now to the east this time of night, in the fall, what's rising up out of the east is the Andromeda Galaxy. And it is, in fact, the nearest galaxy to Earth that we can see with the naked eye. You can make it out as a tiny smudge if you know where to look. If you look through binoculars, you can begin to see it almost immediately. And through this telescope, you'll have a very clear view of a small circular, well, kind of a smudge in the sky. That's about how much you're going to be able to see through this telescope. But it is a galaxy. It's made up not just of hundreds or thousands of stars, but billions of stars.